Thank you, and welcome to each of you for this wonderful platform, wherein we will possibly go back with more questions than answers. But I think it's worth the effort. Thanks to around 55 of you who have registered and in a short notice, and thanks for the trust. Right. Next 15 to 20 minutes, I just want to set the context for what we are all getting into. That includes me, right? Because I'm also getting into something just as you're getting into something. You have your responsibilities, I have mine. So next 15 to 20 minutes, I'll try and explain and set the context for what we're going to do, right? So let me just share a presentation. Just give me a minute. It's not very heavily loaded in terms of content.
We can see your screen, Ranga.
Thank you so much.
Yes, it's on the slideshow mode.
Thank you so much, Vijaya. That was real proactivity. Thank you. Can any one or a few of you also confirm that you can see in addition to Vijaya?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
we can see.
Great. Thank you. Wonderful.
Ranga.
Yeah. So what is this journey about? Okay. It's a lifelong journey, right? There's a start time which has already started. There is really no end time. People say many births are not enough to understand this. But we are embarking on a specific journey. So what is this journey? I think most of you might have that question. Today being a very auspicious day, the Vijaya Dasami, we will just initiate this session. And we have 3 introductory sessions of 90 minutes each, in which we will set the context in a far more detailed manner. But right now, I'm going to uncover just the 30,000 feet view rather than getting to minute details. Right? A small request. I have practiced my session to be for 20 minutes. That was the time allotted by Sri Vidya and Ravi. We're already behind time by a couple of minutes. I'll try and keep it to that 20 minutes. Otherwise, just give me a little leeway into this. Right? Just a couple of minutes. I would like to start with a very deep gratitude to Pujya Swami Dayananda Saraswati, my teacher, guru. No words shall describe what I have received from him. It was one of his desires that such learning should reach corporate people, professionals, students. So 3.5, 4 years ago, we started on this journey with selected group of people. So my deepest gratitude to him for all that he has imparted. And if I make a mistake, if I say something wrongly, it's purely my inadequacy. It is purely my ignorance. He has taught me rightly, maybe I have not learned. So I also seek his pardon in case I make some mistakes in understanding. Second, I would like to express my deep gratitude to Batch 1 volunteers. Batch 1 was done by me with some structure. When a lot of people inquired on Batch 2, I was not ready because of the time load and because of the kind of effort that is required. So I was kind of postponing the decision for about 6 months, simply because of the effort. Now, Batch 1 volunteers came up and said, Ranga, we will handle everything. You concentrate on your session and delivery alone. Kept up their word. The whole initiative of Batch 2, organizing the link, organizing the brochure, to everything was done by a group of people: Ravi, Srividya, Suresh, Rangaraj, Subbu, Kala, Aparna. A lot of people. I might have missed a few names. Kindly pardon me if I missed a few names. Immense contribution in the last 15-20 days. Pranams, namaskارams to each of the volunteers. Thank you so much for being with me on this journey. The third, I would like to express my deep gratitude to my family, my wife Meena and my daughter Maitri, without whom it would be very, very, very difficult for me to take up anything of essence. Right? Without family support, it's impossible to do anything meaningful, according to me, be it professional or personal. So my deep gratitude to Meena and Maitreyi for enabling me to do this and encouraging me constantly and standing by me as a mountain of support. Thank you very much to both of you. Now, before we get on to what is this journey, I think we need to understand why this journey. Okay. The why question is far more important than what and how, right? Why should we embark on this journey? Why should we learn scriptures? For what? Is it just to tell someone that, look, I know scriptures? I think there are many answers to this why question. Like Subbu made a very beautiful statement. Whenever we are in ethical conflict, in Sanskrit, we call it dharma sankatam, right? Uh, I don't know which side is dharma. Like Arjuna was in the battlefield. He did not know whether it was his dharma to kill his own kith and kin. So we all face it on a day-to-day basis in terms of such conflicts. And when we go back to the scriptures, it becomes easier to explain, what kind of a direction should we take, right? So one other reason why we should take on this journey is, I think, to understand ourselves. Entire Vedanta is going inward rather than going outward, trying to understand the universe inside us, right? Which is a very important learning. Third, I think we have a duty to understand our own culture, our own religion, our own scriptures. We have a duty to understand that, right? Unlike in other religions, it is not enforced as a doctrine. Like, I mean, if you take an Islam or a Christianity, the way they, in a very focused way, they teach, we are not. In fact, our religion believes a lot in giving choices, right? You can visit a temple, you need not visit a temple. There are a lot of choices given, right? In fact, even in Bhagavad Gita, if you look at it carefully, Krishna explains everything to Arjuna, 17 chapters. And on the 18th chapter, he tells Arjuna, I've told you whatever I need to tell you. It's up to you now. You take up your decision, right? You make up your mind. So our Sanatana Dharma, our religion gives a lot of choices. And the choices are sometimes advantageous, sometimes not so advantageous, right? Sometimes you feel it is better not to give choices, particularly to say children, right? But our culture itself is something that we need to understand, and we have a duty to understand it really well so that we can explain meaningfully to the next generation. When questions are asked by next generation, many times we don't have answers, right? Because we ourselves have not invested our time in learning it. So I think it's important that we invest time to learn this. So there are many, many reasons why this journey is important to us, right? Now, if you look at a purpose, the purpose of the journey is to live life joyfully and peacefully. Okay. There is a small question answer session which is coming at the end. So in case some questions are coming in your mind, I would request you to note it down, and maybe we can take it at the end. And on top of that, we have a WhatsApp group where you can post the questions and lots of people will respond to it. And we have 3 introductory sessions which are going to follow where we will have a lot of time, right? Okay. The quick purpose is to live life joyfully and peacefully. What is the use of learning a philosophy, which is pure theory? It only enhances to my knowledge, and I can tell people, look, I know this also. No, I think somewhere if it is not practically useful, if I can't apply it on a day-to-day basis, and if it can't enhance my peace and it can't enhance my joy, I think we are on a wrong journey, right? You can't read just for the sake of reading. You need to know how we can apply that on a real life, and then we can take it further, right? It's important for you to know that I am on the journey as much as you're on the journey. Okay, I have my own inadequacies. I have my own growth that I need to make further. I have a long way to go, right, in this journey. So we are all on this journey together, maybe at different steps. That's all, right? Purpose is a very, very clear. We should keep this as a guiding force in our mind to live life every day joyfully and peacefully. Can we attempt it? We may not succeed, but is this what we can attempt it? Right. So that's the purpose that we are going to talk about. There are many situations and cultures where they say, don't ask questions, just follow, or don't use your intellect, have faith, right? Or don't think at all. Thinking is the biggest problem in life, right? So there are many doctrines that disable our thinking and say, have faith, surrender, 100%, don't ask questions. Now, there are many doctrines which talk about this, but our Upanishads, our Vedas are completely against it. It says intellect is a power given to you, right? Like the power to see, the sight is given to you, right? You have no point in closing our eyes. So intellect is a great power given to us, and we should ask questions, right? The entire Upanishads, any Upanishad, if you take, it's a series of question, answers, question, answers, question, answers. There is a dialogue between Yama and a very young boy. There is a dialogue between a Guru Patni and a Guru. Everything is a dialogue. Everything is a series of questions and answers, right? So our culture, the journey that we will make is purely based on an intellectual understanding, right? So this don't ask questions, don't use intellect, don't think, none of this is valid in our journey. We have to ask questions, we have to seek answers. We may find, we may not find, but we continue to ask those questions, right? I'll give an example for a question. A child who is in, say, 8 years, 10-year-old child asks the father, when the father was explaining about Dashavadara. The father said the whole earth was immersed into the ocean, and Lord Vishnu came in the form of an avatar and removed and saved the earth. The child, which is studying mathematics, 10 years, 5th standard, is trying to understand and asking a very valid question. Ocean is a subset of the earth. How can the whole earth go into a subset? How can the whole planet go into a subset of it? The child is unable to visualize this, right? Now, a typical parent would have possibly silenced the child and said, shut up, you ask too many questions. That's how it is. God can do anything, right? And the child at that time may just simply keep quiet, but still the question has not gone out of the mind, right? So I think somewhere we need to be able to understand, we explain, forget about to others, or to explain to ourselves. A whole lot of questions that come to our mind, right? So we need to explain to ourselves. So this journey, entire journey, will encourage everyone to ask questions, right? And when we give an answer, it is only a perspective, it's an understanding to start with. Ultimately, the answer has to be unique and it has to be the truth, right? So when the same question to ask to many people, usually you find many people giving different answers to the same question. But as we go through this journey, we will realize that when the same question is asked to different people from this journey, we all end up giving the same answer because we are moving towards understanding the truth, right? So this is one very important context that I wanted to set in, that a huge encouragement is given to questions, particularly questions that are tough, questions that are provocative, questions that are embarrassing. Okay, there is a lot of openness to such questions. Now, let's start with an interesting question. Do you believe in gravity? Okay. Now, when we say, do you believe in gravity? Puja Swamiji always used to say, gravity is not a matter for belief. Gravity is a matter for understanding, right? Now, if you understand gravity, how it works, and the fact that it works everywhere in the planet, and it works in a particular way, then the decisions you take in life would be very different. For example, if your leg is swollen, for example, a lot of fluid collected in your leg, if you understand gravity, in the night you will lift your leg and sleep. Put a couple of pillows and sleep because the water will flow in, right? Or when you're constructing a bathroom, you will possibly create a slope towards the drainage so that the water flows automatically after you finish your bath. So when we understand gravity through knowledge, the way we operate in this world will be very different, right? Same way, do you believe in God? Now, again, God is not a matter for belief. God is a matter for understanding, just like gravity, right? So the moment we understand God, the way we operate in this world will be very different. That's it. then suddenly you realize ethical conflicts are no more there. It was there earlier, now they're not there. Right? So, do you believe in God? God is not a matter for belief. God is a matter for understanding. Right? Just like gravity, we need to understand God. Right? So, this entire journey is not about creating beliefs. This entire journey is possibly about shaking off the beliefs. And in those places where beliefs were there, we are trying to create knowledge. Right? And then when there is knowledge, typically fear also vanishes. For example, if I have knowledge of snake, the fear may vanish. If I have knowledge of a particular tool, the fear of the tool may vanish. So where knowledge comes, fear will vanish. And when fear vanishes, the way we operate in this world is very, very different, because fear is the biggest crippling force for all of us. Right? So this is second and third important point that I wanted to share in this small session. Third, Albert Einstein, all through his research, finally concluded that there is only energy in this entire universe and there's nothing else. Right? Einstein's discovery, analysis, output was relatively recent as compared to a 5,000-year-old Upanishad. Right? And that happens to be the first Upanishad, and that happens to be the first verse, and that happens to be the first sentence in the first verse of the first Upanishad, Isha Upanishad. The first sentence says, Isha Vashyam Idam Sarvam, which means all that exists is energy. That's it. Now, how did our ancient rishis discover this? There was no scientific logic, tool, nothing. But how is it that something that is told 5,000 years ago, in the first Upanishad, first verse, first sentence, happens to be the largest truth that, say, a scientist has discovered? Right? I think it's important for us to know our roots. It's important for us to know our culture, and we have the responsibility to pass it to our next generation. It's a huge responsibility to pass it to our next generation. And we can pass it to our next generation only when we understand, not believe certain things. We understand how it works. So that's why Jnana Yoga is all about understanding, right? It's not based on faith, right? It's based on an understanding of a concept, right? Okay. We are coming to the end of my clarifications. We all go through different stages. Okay. My God, your God, right? There's only one God. No, there are many gods. How can there be many gods, right? People who believe in, Muruga will say Muruga is the only God. People who are Vaishnavites will say Vishnu is the supreme God and there is no other supreme God. People who are Shaivites will say Shiva is the only God. Vishnu is not a God at all. Then Jesus is a God, only God. And, you have Muhammad. I think we all go through this whole confusion of multiple gods, one God, your God, my God. We all go through all this. What does the scripture actually say? Our scriptures, if you understand, go very deeply into our scriptures and understand from this entire sentence, which has got 5 words in this, there is only one God. From this sentence of 5 words, it eliminates one word. That's it. That's what our scriptures do. It eliminates the word one. Now read the sentence. It says, there is only God. That's it. There's nothing else in this universe. Like whether it's an atom or whether it's a whole universe you're talking about, Isha Vashyam Idam Sarvam. That's it. Okay. So what is in an atom is what is there in the universe. So the Pindanda and the Brahmanda that we're actually talking about over a period of time, right? And in fact, scientists have figured out that how an atom is organized is how the universe is organized, right? In terms of 90% being black matter, right? So quantum physics, when we talk about quantum physics and Vedanta, you see a lot of things which are merging very nicely into it, right? So our scripture has declared authentically, with evidence, with logic, that there is only God. That's it. There's nothing else, right? So what do? We declare everything as God, as Pujya Swamiji would say. We declare everything as God. We declare man as God. We declare woman as God. We have Shakti, we have Shiva, we have Brahma, we have Vishnu. Okay. We declare a beautiful woman as God, say Mahalakshmi. We declare a woman who is very scary as God, which is Bhadrakali. We declare a small boy as a god, which is Muruga. We declare a half man, half animal as a god, which is Ganesha. Right? Now, you declare everything as God. That's it. And you attach an animal to every god. You attach a sacred tree to every god. And ours is a only culture where, because we see God in everything, we worship our tools. Yesterday was, the occasion to worship our tools. We respect our car. We respect our hammer. A cobbler respects his needle. A tailor respects his tailoring machine. Every tool is respected, and there is one day allocated for Ayuda Puja. You will find this in no other culture. Right? Only culture which is based on an extremely deep understanding of what is godliness as different from God. Right? Now, what exists is godliness. The first session that we will see next Thursday, we will expand on this to understand what is the difference between God and godliness. Right? So the focus is the word God. Because the moment you say God, it looks like it's a noun. So it looks like a person. Then we get into a series of questions. Who created this person? Right? Okay, who created the person who created this person? Is there a geographical location where this person is located? Is it Kailasha or is it Vaikunta? You ask Vaishnavites, they'll say Vaikunta. You ask Shaivites, they'll say Kailasha. Right? And if you ask an evolved person, he'll say sitting inside me. Right? But the moment you look at it as a noun, the moment you look at it as a person, I think our ignorance is reflecting. What is the real meaning of the word God? Right? I still remember a satsang. In fact, this is what we will expound next session. The very first introductory session, we'll see this. The answer to the question, is there God? The answer is no. Let me repeat. The answer to the question which a child asks, many of us, is there God? The answer is no. Because the moment you say there is a God, then there is a series of questions which require to be answered. Right? So we need to understand with our intellect, we need to understand using our logic, right? What is godliness and what does it mean and where does it exist, right? Now, is there an existence? Is there a shape? Is there a form to it? Is there no form to it? So let's get this absolutely correct, that our scriptures are far deeper. It's a huge ocean, but that doesn't mean we can't understand it. In fact, once I was asked a question: how do you eat an elephant? Right, and the answer is a very simple answer: one piece at a time. That's it. But at the end of it, somewhere you're going to finish off the elephant, right? So I think the very sheer size of our scriptures should not demotivate us from exploring it. What's important is the exploration has to be done in a very systematic manner. It is not random. Right? Like I see one video in YouTube, I read one book here, I read one chapter from there, I listen to somebody. No, it should not be a very unstructured way of thinking. There is a very beautiful structure to explore, a very beautiful structure to understand this, just like how you can't do a PhD without doing your schooling and college, right? So same way, there is a process by which we should attack it, right? It's said that systematic study of our scriptures for a length of time under the guidance of a competent acharya. This is what is prescribed in scriptures as what is called as scriptural study. So when we say I am learning scriptures, right, it has to be a very systematic study. Even though the word used here is an acharya, okay, I don't consider myself as an acharya. I have a long way to go. Really a long way to go. I look at myself only as a learning enabler, a learning facilitator in this whole process, right? So what I would provide during this entire journey is the system, right? The structure in which we should explore it in a very neat and logical manner, understand one thing, understand it really well, then go to the next thing on which this is based on, right? So that's a logic that we need to go through. Length of time, it's a lifelong journey. I still remember, Narendra Modi ji, when he came to power, he made a very beautiful statement. I am not playing a 2020 match. I am playing a test match. I have 5 years in front of me, so I'm not in a hurry. So I think we will not be in a hurry because we are getting on a journey which is lifelong, right? I mean, it's not that you got to finish it in 1 year, so you scramble everything into it. No, we go through it. At the same time, we go through it. There's a beautiful word in Tamil called nidana, which is I have not found an equivalent word in English, which means we do it at the right speed so that we get it right the first time. Okay, we will not speed up. We will not slow down. Yeah, and we will do this for over a period of time. The reason we gave 3 introductory sessions is because we wanted you to know the depth of the journey. We wanted you to know the commitment that you need to make on this journey. You know your priorities better. You know your priorities the best, right? So you need to know what kind of commitment you're going to make, and you can have a choice. You should be given a choice to decide at the end of the 3 introductory sessions whether you want to continue the journey or you want to not continue the journey, whether you think it's the right time or you think it's not the right time, given your priorities, given your. So whatever decision you take, I think we will respect it. And in the same manner, we also need a choice, because we also don't want to carry anybody who is interested to come into this. No, we definitely want to be sure that we have the right people, because it's group work that we're going to be doing. Just like how they say, one bad apple may spoil the whole basket of apples, right? So we have to be very careful about the choice of people. So just like how you are going to have a choice at the end of the 3 introductory sessions, our core team, which is led by Ravi and Srividya, they will also have a choice in terms of who can continue the journey. I think we should give each other this choice very well. And at the end of introductory sessions, we will make a very clean decision as to how we will proceed further. Then I will reveal the whole flow, the structure year by year, so that we know what we are going to do and what we will possibly not do. Right? These sessions are not going to be a one-way dialogue, one-way monologue where you will listen to me. No, there's a lot of group work where you will all get together and you will present certain things in terms of mananam, your understanding, your perspective. There's a lot of research requirement involved in this. I will unfold each of this requirement as we move on into the 3 introductory session. Right now, this session will not be complete with. It's very important that I express a deep gratitude to each of you who have reposed your faith, your trust on the person who interacted with you. So your trust was first on that person who interacted with you and requested you to join. Then you trusted me, then you trusted the process. And most importantly, I think you have a deep desire to learn. That's why you're here, right? So I think this deep desire to learn itself will take you through. So I would like to express my deep gratitude to each of you. And I would like to hand over the floor back to Ravi. There is an open Q&A, which is at the end, which is coming. So with deep gratitude for each of you for giving me a very patient listening. It's a long journey. Let's pray to Ishvara that he gives us the strength to go through this journey and helps us become a little more aware in this world. Thank you. Pranams.
Ravi, there are a couple of questions on the message. One person is asked, I'm 14 years old. Can I understand all of it? There is one from Atish. Dear Ranga uncle, I'm 14-year old. Will I be able to understand everything? And should I do any pre-study?
Beautiful. Let me share my perspective to this question, Atish. First of all, it is wonderful, wonderful, Atish, that you have actually chosen to join this group. Many people think reading of Vedanta is a post-retirement kind of a topic. Actually, it is not. The earlier you get exposed to this topic, the better, because it will enhance your aspiration. It will enhance the way you operate in this world. Is it okay? Now, I will be presenting these topics in a manner where a 14-year-old and possibly a 60-year-old can connect to it. It's up to me to make sure that the heterogeneous audience is handled well. Is that fine, Atish? Now, yeah. Second, even if you are not able to understand a few things, you can check with your mom, Sandhya, who is part of the Vedanta Joyful Journey Batch 1. I'm also planning to have some coaches Okay, who can interact with selected people to clarify certain doubts in a smaller group setting rather than in a larger group setting. Is it okay? So you will be offered all the kind of help. Batch one volunteers are very clear as to how to support this entire journey. So please stay on in the group. You won't
Thank
be
you
left
so
out.
much, Uncle.
Yeah.
This is Geeta. Maybe it's too early to ask this question, but what is the time commitment outside of these weekly sessions? I'm assuming they'll be weekly. If we do go beyond the first three, the introductory sessions, what is the time commitment?
I'm not sure if you had time to go through the FAQ document that we had posted in the group.
Oh,
Okay.
I didn't.
So there is a document we have prepared, which is frequently asked questions. And one of the questions very clearly answers this in terms of what is the time commitment expected for the sessions and beyond the sessions. Is that fine?
Okay.
So I would request you to take a look at the document. And Srividya, in case for whatever reason the document is not available, maybe we could post the document once more in the group.
Sure, we'll repost it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
My wife is interested. Has she need to register separately?
See, we would, frankly speaking, in one computer monitor, many people can watch and learn together. That's not a problem. My suggestion would be to register separately because I think we have to look at ourselves as individuals. If you register separately, that would just be a recommendation.
Thank you.
So we conclude with a prayer from a Upanishad. It is said in the scriptures that even if the whole scriptures vanish, everything is lost. If this one verse stays, we can regain the entire scriptures, right? So we normally end our sessions with this prayer, right? So, but before I state the prayer, let us spend about 20 seconds in silence, expressing our gratitude to Ishvara for showing each of us to each other and enabling us in this journey. It is not a coincidence. I think right things are happening at the right time. We are in the right place at the right time. So let's express our gratitude to Ishvara for 30 seconds and then I'll close. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Pranam sir, thank you very much everybody.